Hey guys, Reviewz here with a review of Jet Force Gemini, released for the Nintendo 64 in 1999, developed and published by Rare. Jet Force Gemini was one of my favourite games growing up and was one of many 3D platformers released at the time. So how does it stand up by today's standards? Jet Force Gemini is an action-adventure platforming game where you control the last surviving members of the Jet Force fleet, Juno, his sister Vela, and their dog Lupus, who find themselves trapped on a primitive planet after the Jet Force fleet have been destroyed by the evil tyrannical Mizar, who is bent on conquering the universe. In order to catch up to Mizar before he destroys Earth, the Jet Force Gemini team must collect pieces of a spaceship scattered throughout the galaxy, which belong to the Tribals, the natives of the planet the team crash land on. Jet Force Gemini incorporates elements of platforming, adventure, and run-and-gun gameplay, not too dissimilar to Mega Man. Primarily a third-person shooter, the game places a great deal of emphasis on exploring the vast, extensive levels and collecting power-ups to improve your health and weaponry. The majority of the game finds you in battle, whether it be alien bugs or towering bosses. The game can become really intense when it wants, forcing you to think on your feet. You also have a jetpack to get to hard-to-reach places, while at the same time aiding you in combat. As I said, exploration is a huge part of this game, with the main campaign consisting of 50 non-linear worlds, with each world broken down into areas connected by doors, some of which require special actions to proceed, such as eliminating all enemies in a given area. Furthermore, each character have their own special abilities, like Juno, who can walk through lava safely, and Vela, who can breathe underwater. Initially, Jet Force Gemini is quite restrictive, forcing you to choose certain characters in each level. After a certain point, the game opens up, allowing you to choose different characters in different levels. I thought it was a shame that you couldn't choose who to play of right off the bat, but it does make sense from a narrative standpoint, which unfolds after time. As well as collecting the various spaceship pieces, you also have to rescue the Tribals, who have been captured by Mizar, so that King Jeff, the leader of the Tribals, will help you escape and pursue Mizar. In order to reach the final level and complete the game, you have to rescue every Tribal, which can turn into a chore, but unfortunately you have to do this if you want to get to the end of the game. Jet Force Gemini also features a multiplayer mode, where up to 4 players can compete in a deathmatch and survival matches, where options like weapons, time limits, and the number of lives per player can be decided beforehand. These matches are really fun and offer the frantic and competitive atmosphere that any good multiplayer mode should have. In addition, there is a cooperative mode where the second player takes control of Floyd, a flying robot who gives additional aid to the main player in battle. Graphically, this game brings out the best in the N64, with an engaging, bright colour palette, detailed character models, and fluid animation. Jet Force Gemini stands tall in a string of hits from the N64 that include Banjo-Kazooie and GoldenEye. Each level has a distinctive design that gives them a unique look. I remember playing this at the time, and a real sense of awe and wonder I felt about making my way through these levels, while trying to avoid and dodge enemy insects. At one point in development, the N64 expansion pack was considered for use, but the idea was later dropped. It would have been really interesting to see what the game would have looked like if it had been integrated with the expansion pack in the same way that Donkey Kong 64 was. No doubt the level of detail would have been vastly increased and would have perhaps allowed for even a greater scope in level design. Jet Force Gemini features a fully orchestrated soundtrack, and boy does it show. The music definitely goes for a more operatic bent than standard generic rock or techno, establishing the mood of each level and really adds a sense of depth and places the game firmly within the space opera genre. Music can make or break a game, and with this score, the game makes it. For all the really great things about Jet Force Gemini, and there are a lot of them, there are some niggles that I have with it. The controls do feel clunky due to first-person mechanics being implemented into a third-person shooter. This makes turning a little tricky, particularly in battle, where you have to follow the reticle of your weapon to fire. It's safe to say that the learning curve is a little steep here. However, when out of battle, the game reverts to a more conventional 3D platformer control scheme. Another issue is that in order to get to the final level, you must rescue every Tribal, which can be pretty tiresome, as they are well hidden, meaning that you have to go through levels multiple times in order to find them all. If the game wasn't as good as it is, then this could be a real deal breaker. Thankfully, the game has a lot of charm and personality, along with fairly competent mechanics, so that isn't too much of a problem, and if you're a completionist, then you have quite a challenge ahead of you. All in all, Jet Force Gemini is one of the most memorable titles from the Nintendo 64 era, coming from a developer who was at the height of their powers, churning out hit after hit. If you can find this game, I strongly recommend you check it out, as it has a lot going for it with its compelling adventure. Well, that's the end of this review. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, then you can hit that like button and leave your comments about what you thought about Jet Force Gemini. So until next time, peace out guys.